Howdy, howdy, y'all. How we all doing? Anyways, hello. It's a crazy day in the world right now. But it depends on when I upload this video. Anyways, I just saw a new Pat CC uploaded today because, thankfully, on this kind of wacky day, which I know it's not really wacky, but there's a solar eclipse going on right now, so I just kind of like feel like it's been a weird day. Even in my internship, it was pretty much all they were talking about. So, anyways, let's get to this video right here that Pat CC uploaded because I forgot it's Monday because every day this dude uploads on Mondays now. So, and I did get out of the shower, as you can see. My hair is pretty yeah. But anyways, I know I'm trying not to react to the same like people at least in a week. That's why I might upload this one much later. But I just saw it now, so I just think I should get it out of the way because I do still have a lot of other reactions to keep up on and stuff that I've saved and stuff. So that's why I'm gonna get this video out the way. This is a video about Katt Williams, who I know is a pretty like very well known comedian in like the very in comedy space, and that like he's never like Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle or anyone like that. I've never really seen too much videos on him. I saw this one video that was pretty funny, but apparently there's a video by here Pat CC just made today called "Why Hollywood Wants Him Dead." I don't know what would be about, but sounds like kind of like Dave Chappelle, where he like sort of like said stuff that was pretty off the wall and it kind of pissed off some communities and stuff. Maybe that's the same thing, but we'll have to wait and see. But anyways, this is a video. Again, this is why Hollywood wants Katt Williams dead. I mean, that's the current title right now. Unless Pat 60 changes it, I may have to make a update because you know how he is with these titles. That's why I'm glad I'm gonna have to wait to upload this. But anyways, watching this new Pat CC video now. Let's go.
Katt Williams recently spoke out against countless powerful Hollywood figures in a podcast with Shannon Sharp, and they are not happy. What makes Katt's expose so dangerous is that tens of millions of people around the world believe he is telling the truth. This man is speaking against the evils of this world. Thank you, Katt Williams. This generation is hungry for the truth. Thank you, Katt, for speaking your truth. We absolutely believe you.
They canceled me for talking about Harvey Weinstein before the thing came out, but he offered to suck my penis in front of all my people at my agency.
Now, a lot of what Katt said in this podcast cannot be proven true or false, but because he is funny, a good storyteller, and most importantly, confident with his words, this allowed him to convince millions that he's telling the truth. Plus, we all know that celebrities don't often speak their true thoughts on the industry or politics out of fear of being canceled. However, some things he said are just straight up lies.
I'm probably reading 3,000 books a year from the time that I'm 8 years old to the time that I'm 12. My next project was to read the whole encyclopedia set. So when you're like 6, 7 years old, you read the whole encyclopedia set, you think you're one of the smartest people in the world.
So apparently, Katt read the entire encyclopedia and read 8 non-fiction books every single day from age 8 to age 12. This is impossible, and it's a lie. Throughout this entire podcast, Katt slipped in bold-faced lies, which massively contradicts his preaches of spreading the truth.
Nobody knows why liars lie, and that's why I had to come on the program.
Katt exists in this middle ground where nobody can really determine if he is telling the truth, if he is lying, if he's telling a joke, if he's on drugs, if he has a mental illness, or if he is clearly exposing the dark and sinister nature of Hollywood. So today, I am going to give you as much context as possible so you can make that decision for yourself, starting with his earliest introduction to Hollywood on the set of his very first movie, Friday After Next, where Katt played the role of Money Mike. But in the script, Katt alleged that Money Mike was originally supposed to be violently assaulted.
The truth of the matter is, the Money Mike in the original script got in the bathroom. Katt Williams had to take the risk in front of the studios and the cast and our powers that be in his very first movie and say respectfully, the problem with Friday After Next is we're trying to make a classic comedy. And this comedy involves and it's never funny no matter who it happens to or what the circumstances are. If you would allow me to allow us to do this movie without a black man getting in it, I promise you that it will be twice as funny.
Ice Cube, who wrote, produced, and acted in the film, denied these allegations.
Second thing I want to clear up, I would never shoot a scene in a movie, especially like Friday, where you actually see this happening on camera. That ain't my style. If you check out any of my movies, they're not raunchy.
But it's because Katt said things like this throughout his interview caused fans to cast doubt on anyone who denied his claims.
These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything. That includes blessings for his people. You know what the number one job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is? Is to act like it didn't happen. They all do the same job.
Katt believes he has a more legitimate and honorable legacy than the other comedians he has been associated with throughout his career. These men, Katt says, have formed a gang in Hollywood that actively steal and or blackball young entertainers' careers, which drives them into madness.
For 30 years, they're a group. These aren't three random guys. The way that Ricky Smiley kept appearing at all of my auditions is because of Steven said he would tell anybody that, listen, they got a gang on that side. They know what it is. They know who the gang is. All of these dudes are co-entwined and they share secrets, and this is the age of truth, and the truth doesn't need to be scared of the fact that people tell lies.
Katt only mentions 3 of these group members by name: Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, and Ricky Smiley. But you will notice throughout the video he makes bold accusations about many other massive stars like Kevin Hart and Martin Lawrence. Are they also a part of the gang? Well, that's up for you to decide.
If you sign up for their program, you get a light-skinned, weird-faced wife that never do an interview.
Anyways, let's start with Katt's claims that Cedric the Entertainer and Steve Harvey stole his material. But first, I'm going to steal your attention for just a minute to tell you about today's sponsor. Have you ever Googled your name and seen yourself on one of those strange sites that has way too much information? However, they make it very neat.
Let's skip all that.
Words, monitor account activity, and consider credit-free. Wouldn't worry, because I know .com/Patrick C. on the original Kings of Comedy tour in 2000, which at the time was the highest-grossing comedy tour in history. Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, and Bernie Mac playing sold-out arenas from coast to coast. The tour grossed over $18 million in its first year. In 1999, both Seagram Americas and HBO sponsored the tour. D.L. Hewley was added, and the 2-year gross exceeded $37 million. And at the exact same time of this tour, Katt was just starting to make a name for himself in Hollywood.
He thought that I was just a no-name comedian and that he could take this joke and nobody would know. Right. The issue was that I had already done this particular joke on BET's Comic View twice.
This is the joke that Katt is referring to, which was originally performed in 1998 on BET's Comic View program. Using physical comedy, Katt mimics someone trying to assess why their car just broke down while the music is blasting. The alleged theft came from Cedric the Entertainer 2 years later on the original Kings of Comedy tour, which was in 2000. The premise of Cedric's joke was that white people are obsessed with the moon and space. He says black people are not, but if they gotta go to space, then they would drive the spaceship like this.
We drive a space shuttle like it's a 72 deuce and a quarter. Nigga, we get us a cigarette, nigga, we be in a space shuttle, nigga, like it's a 72 deuce, nigga.
Now, when you consider the music cue, which is not very common in stand-up comedy, that already looks suspicious. Then the side-by-side comparison indicates Cedric makes very similar physical movements that Katt did. Cedric says he did not steal the joke, and that if Katt was so upset about it, he had 30 opportunities to speak up.
Can't say you stole one of his jokes. Yeah, like, I mean, it was ridiculous. You know what I mean? It was like the idea of the joke that he was even talking about. You don't even match up with no timeline. So for me, it was one of those things like... Did you have a conversation? Did you guys sell it? Did you have a conversation with Katt? I've seen this guy 30 times. Like, dog, if you literally was that upset about it, like, dog, why you say, hey, yeah, why you say nothing? Like, that don't even make sense.
But Katt says that Cedric apologized about stealing the joke years ago, and is now lying to the public that he never stole it in the first place.
Him and Steve had already apologized for me, so I gave him a pass. Why would you sit here and be like, I saw Katt 30 times. Why did I give you a pass if you were just gonna lie?
So imagine how a young Katt Williams felt seeing his best joke being stolen by one of the biggest comedians in the world on the largest grossing comedy tour in history.
He never wrote anything. Remember, when Cedric the Entertainer starts, he's supposed to be singing, dancing, and telling jokes. That's why he's called the Entertainer. He did 4 comedy specials. They're so bad.
Him and Martin Lawrence to me are very similar. Cedric the Entertainer. They kind of sometimes mix them up, but yeah, this is a pretty interesting video though, especially about saying like how, you know, Katt Williams thinking that these people are part of like these Hollywood kind of like, you know, certain gang, you know, kind of thing. But I don't know, this is pretty interesting.
Shannon, they're not available on Netflix or Tubi.
Noticing all the backlash, Cedric responded to Katt's comments on Instagram. Revision is history. Regardless of whatever Katt's opinion, my career can't be reduced to one joke Katt Williams claims as his. Cedric added, I'm a grown-ass man, and none of that shit going to go like you think. But Cedric isn't the only one that stole Katt's material. Steve Harvey's theft of Katt's jokes is arguably much worse. At the 2005 BET Comedy Awards, Steve Harvey introduced a hot upcoming comedian to the stage by the name of Katt Williams. Katt hit the stage and absolutely dominated the crowd with his joke about gas prices.
Because the world is crazy right now. What is gas? $600 a damn gallon right now? I don't care how much money you got. Gas is entirely too high. Used to be, if you put $15 in your tank, you had time to bond with your vehicle. You had time to put the nozzle in and set the clicker and look through your car and clean off the dashboard.
Then Steve Harvey did a joke about gas prices 3 behavior.
My goodness, and even that relates way even more now. Ugh.
Later in his comedy special, Still Trippin'.
Gas $4 a gallon. Can't even pump gas like you used to no more. $4 a gallon? You remember when you used to go to pump and put the nozzle in there and hit it? Be sitting there talking, be on your phone. Hey, what's happening? Be walking around, cleaning the windshield.
It's hard to see this as anything other than blatant theft, but Katt didn't stop there. He continued to expose Steve's long history of suspicious behavior. It started with why Bernie Mac quit the iconic Kings of Comedy tour.
Do you consider yourself a king of comedy?
They consider that. After Bernie left, them same three guys I'm telling you about, the
R.I.P. Bernie Mac, didn't he pass away like 2 decades ago?
kings,
Yeah.
they came to me. I was supposed to be the fourth king. I got the offer,
Then what
but I
happened?
turned it down.
Why?
Because you shit on Bernie, and I know the truth. You think I'm gonna let you shit on Bernie and then come get me? I'm the next king?
Now, there has been an infamous beef between Steve Harvey and the late Bernie Mac that fans have known about for years. There were often arguments between the 4 comedians of who should be the closer or finale of the tour. Since Bernie was a much funnier comedian, Steve would get booed by the crowd when he performed after Bernie.
Why? Because the whole time Bernie was here, you was acting like you was funnier than him. The reason you was supposed to go last is because it was your tour. Tell the truth. It was Steve's tour. Not it was going to be called the Kings of Comedy. It was Steve's tour. These are the guys opening for him. Of course, you got to close if it's your tour.
Harvey eventually just ended up being the host of the tour and not performing a full stand-up routine because he just couldn't make the audience laugh as hard as Bernie. D.L. Hewley, who was also on the tour, even said that Steve never thought Bernie would become successful, and when he started getting more opportunities, he became jealous.
You feel that the beef between Bernie Mac and Steve Harvey was because Steve Harvey was getting a lot of network love during the time and Bernie Mac not so much?
Yeah, and then Bernie started to get it. So, yeah, I think that, Steve at one point was, uber successful, and then Bernie started to, because he didn't ever think he would get the opportunity he got. But once he did, America loved him, like we all kind of knew they would, and he decided to go a different way.
Eventually, Bernie got sick of Steve hating, realized his worth, and exited the tour, which ended up forcing all 4 guys to split up.
We split up. You wish you would have stayed and kept it together, could have kept it together a couple. We tried everything, but dudes felt like they was movie stars. I never saw myself as a movie star.
Steve basically claims that Bernie went Hollywood and acted too good for the guys, and Katt didn't like that.
Imagine him coming to tell you another story where he got so big and it was Bernie and them's fault because they wanted to be movie stars.
So I guess the whole story is that Bernie Mac and all of them, Bernie Mac, Cedric, and I don't know who this Steve guy is that Katt's talking to right now. I don't know who this is. I think he does like interviews and stuff. Maybe that's the YouTube channel is right listed down below right there. But yeah, so I guess they were all part of yeah, that's what it is. Yes. So I guess the story is he originally apparently he claims that the King of Comedy guys, like Cedric the Entertainer, Bernie Mac, and all them, stole from him. I guess is basically from what I'm saying. So there was a video that he did about this. About you might know Dane Cook. He's in he's a comedian who's also he's from he's from Cambridge, and he made a whole documentary about him recently too, last year, where he was saying that he was taking from I think even no, sorry, not I was about to say the wrong person, but he was taken from Louis C.K. and all these other guys and stuff. So guys, my cat's actually under the table now because she just came downstairs. Let me see if I can get her. I don't think you can even see her that well, but hey, Penny, you want to write to this with me? So I gotta try to be careful, okay, because I can't flip on this. Yep. Come on, okay. Alright. Alright, guys. Still have some minutes left to go on this thing. But anyways, yeah, when she goes back up. Wait, so what's this?
What? You called Ocean 11 to get that nigga's part? What do you mean you didn't want to be a movie star?
Allegedly, Steve even called the producers for the heist comedy film Ocean's 11 to steal the role of Frank Catton from Bernie Mac. Ocean's 11 featured a star-studded cast, including George Clooney, Matt Damon, Brad Pitt, Julia Roberts, and Casey Affleck, among others. The film became a huge critical and commercial success, earning over $450 million at the worldwide box office. Having a substantial role in a film of this magnitude helped the rising trajectory of Bernie Mac's career. An infamous GQ article from 2003 released when Bernie Mac himself claimed that Steve was jealous of him from the very beginning. Overall, Katt is obviously upset about Steve stealing material, but ironically, he was more upset that Harvey tried to lie and claim that Bernie went Hollywood on the Kings of Comedy, when in reality, Steve was so jealous of his success that Bernie couldn't take it anymore and quit.
And now that he gone, you gonna act like he wanted to be a movie star. You stop it. You stop it. That man was funnier than all of y'all, and y'all thought y'all had one over on him. The king is the funniest. Period. Every time. And that's why no audience member was ever swayed. It didn't matter where Bernie went. You think if Bernie went first, he wasn't the king? Get out of here.
But Katt Williams and Steve Harvey's beef did not stop there. A few years later, in 2008, a show promoter booked Steve Harvey and Katt Williams to co-headline a New Year's Eve stadium show in Detroit.
Yo, I have a question. Where's the, look at this, where's the Y in the Steve Harvey, where's the, I don't know.
Katt entered his villain arc and challenged Steve to a comedy battle on the Jamie Foxx radio show, to which Steve accepted.
You have been the king of comedy as long as we've had one. The second that you get off stage, I need you to understand.
I was about to say King of Comedy. I got that mixed with what's that show? King of Queens, but that was Kevin James.
That's your final time as the king of comedy. I hope you got a team of writers. You're gonna need about 6 or 7 of them. You can bring the nation. You can bring Rashawn McDonald. You can bring everybody who listens to your radio show. They gonna see the truth. And his name is Katt Williams. Consider yourself warned.
What was supposed to be just a comedy show is now some sort of 1v1 battle dubbed the Championship of Comedy, and Steve responded with this.
I'm not saying he's in trouble, but I'm saying this right here, Jamie. A dog don't bark at parked cars.
Basically, Steve's analogy was that he shouldn't respond to Katt Williams because he is too famous and successful. So on New Year's Eve, Steve got on the stage and never addressed or made fun of Katt. That was a big mistake.
Please give it up for Steve Harvey one time. Give it up for Steve Harvey. He's an excellent comedian, but he don't want no parts of this in any way, shape, or form. I don't know why he came out here with all this money y'all spent on them motherfucking tickets and talked about a lady in the audience for 15 minutes.
Not Steve Harvey, but
Talked about me the way I've been to talk about his bitch man. He tried to copy off me wearing that ugly ass sparkly ass tie, a regular black suit like he was going to a funeral. Yours, nigga, yours. He did the shit because he was a shit in 1968. Nigga, I'm the shit this evening. Let's fast forward it to when this disrespectful nigga did something called the original Kings of Comedy. You gonna be the original King of Comedy, nigga. Did it start with you, you disrespectful son of a bitch? Richard Pryor, not Bill Cosby, Steve Harvey is the original King of Comedy. You's a goddamn liar. And if you listen to his show, you know that nigga's a liar straight up and down. I tried on January 1st trying to find his hairpiece and his career because I come to put that motherfucker on the ground.
Katt absolutely embarrassed Steve. He claims this was the end of Harvey's career.
Steve told you that he stopped doing stand-up because he has 7 TV shows. The only problem is when he stopped stand-up, he didn't have those 7 TV shows. He stopped stand-up because he got in a comedy battle called the Championship of Stand-Up Comedy with one Katt Williams in Detroit in front of 10,000 people and lost because Katt Williams said he was actually bald and that was a wig. And I went in and that's why he couldn't do stand-up anymore.
Now, Katt isn't very accurate here. Steve had multiple successful arena comedy tours after the championship battle, and Steve was already bald by 2008, so Katt didn't really expose him for having fake hair. But is it a coincidence that almost immediately after Katt got on that stage and exposed his biggest hater in the industry, he started his crazy downward spiral? In November of 2008, Williams missed an appearance on Conan O'Brien and was later arrested that evening when officers found 3 handguns in his car while exiting rapper Jim Jones' studio in New York. That same month, he checked into the Mount Vernon Inn in Sumter, South Carolina. Shortly after checking in, employees reportedly found Williams stumbling around wearing just a bathrobe and a towel wrapped around his head. When police arrived, Williams asked them for directions to the nearest hospital. There, his family convinced him to seek psychiatric help, to which he was eventually hospitalized. He just said that he doesn't trust anyone anymore, that everyone has turned against him. He wasn't really coherent. Pretty much after this, Katt wasn't seen again until 2011. No stand-up performances, no movies, no TV. The only time he was talked about was when he was arrested. In November of 2010, authorities arrested Katt in Coata County, Georgia, after he allegedly stole $3,500 worth of coins and jewelry. Things escalated in June of 2011 when he was arrested in connection with an alleged assault on a tractor driver. He supposedly conspired with 3 women who attacked the man in his tractor. In 2012, Williams returned to the comedy world with his 3rd HBO comedy special, Kattpocalypse. Unfortunately, with the spotlight back on him, Katt fell back into a dangerous cycle as the bizarre...
Oh my god, I'm gonna see if that door's shut there. I don't think my cat's up there, so let me go check.
behavior continued. In October of 2012, Katt and comedian Faison Love got into a heated argument outside of a Hollywood club over a $50,000 debt that Katt owed Love.
He's the dude who plays the manager in Elf. That guy's hilarious. You know, he's like, my favorite line from that movie is when as him as the manager, he's like, yeah, if we all go, shut down. If we all go, we all go. We're about to go right off. If we don't have, I don't know. I'm sorry to think, but yes, he has a lot of great lines. Like, that guy's hilarious. I know who exactly he's talking about there. Just saying.
In the argument, Katt proceeded to pull a gun on Love. that wasn't loaded. On November 9th, his former assistant, Melissa Shaig, claimed that he went into a rage and attacked her the month prior. Then police arrested Katt in Oakland, California on charges of suspicion of assault with a deadly weapon after he'd allegedly beaten an 18-year-old with a bottle. On November 16th, at the Oracle Arena in California, Katt took the stage while having a total public meltdown. For 15 minutes, he seemed to be under the influence, rambling about nothing while taunting members of the audience.
Well, give me 20, nigga, that's how much the album costs, fuck boy. But I bet if you can walk to your car, I can show your bitch a dick she'll enjoy. So why don't you take your ass on over there, nigga, before I can catch you. Or you can pull your bank out and I'll match you. But you ain't gonna do shit but get punched in the face.
Then the audience began booing him.
So weird, bro. I do. He probably was drunk though. So obvious.
Look at all broke people. Your breath smells like Top Ramen. Get the fuck out of here, nigga.
I am like afraid to leave and I'm afraid to
We
stay.
know you ain't got no money. We see your outfit, nigga. Get the fuck out of here. Old broke ass nigga.
On November 17th, 2012, Williams got involved in a police chase while driving his three-wheeled motorcycle and failing to stop. Just a week later, Katt was arrested in Seattle, Washington after he allegedly got into a dispute at a bar in the South Lake Union neighborhood. His arrest came after he missed the first
See
night
that
of a
Suge Knight building up? Yep, we can Snoop Dogg and I think wasn't he Eminem Suge Knight, or was he like Death Row Records, that kind of thing? He wasn't like Shady Records, I don't think.
and two-night performance at the Paramount Theater. That same month, he
He was like
slapped a
50
Target
Cent,
employee
Snoop
in
Dogg,
Sacramento for no apparent reason, which was made fun of on late-night television shows like Conan O'Brien. On December 28th, Williams was placed in handcuffs once again on child endangerment charges.
Oh, man, K, you cool, man? How you doing?
I'm cooler than a fan, man. They took my children from me.
Yeah, I mean,
How terrible is that?
Katt's criminal history does not even come close to stopping here, but I'm sure you all get the point. He was spiraling hard for years, seemingly strung out on drugs or at least experiencing manic episodes. The media called him crazy, a crackhead, and didn't believe anything he was saying since they wrote him off as a madman, but he says he was never under the influence.
I am never under the influence of anything. I'm always in my right mind. I'm always a physical specimen. And when you see me, I'm much, much bigger than you had thought. I have far less play in me than you would like.
There seems to be a pattern with comedians in the downward spiral. In 1990, Richard Pryor, who struggled with addictions to women and hard drugs, poured high-proof rum on himself and set himself on fire. His widow, Jennifer Lee Pryor, claimed it was a drug-induced attempt at ending everything. In 1997, Martin Lawrence was coming off the end of his hit sitcom, Martin, as well as starring in the blockbuster film Bad Boys. That year, Lawrence allegedly had a meltdown in Los Angeles where he ran into Ventura Boulevard with a gun and threatened tourists and random people. Sources claimed Martin began taking psychotropic drugs and having violent outbursts on the set of his movie, A Thin Line Between Love and Hate. Martin would continue his erratic behavior, getting arrested for gun possession and later going to rehab. Robin Williams openly spoke about his lifelong battle with addiction, alcoholism, and depression. Comedian Mark Maron has spoken publicly about having severe depression. Artie Lang and Jim Norton as well. John Belushi, Chris Farley, and Greg Giraldo all died of drug overdoses. It's unclear why comedians seem to...
That's what's something that's very true, man. You know, especially it's like the life of like even celebrities too, like, or singers. I mean, musicians. But it's kind of sad that even like the most like, you know, people who look so like, you know, great, like they're good on the inside, they're not great on the, you know, they look good on the outside, they don't look good in the inside, and that's the thing about it. You just have like, you know, and that's why. But there's a reason why that's because, you know, people have like, and that's the thing. Just that's why I really don't condone, you know, doing any type of drug use, guys. I understand, like, you know, if you have your opinion, but obviously, you gotta stay away from drugs. Yeah, so I'm telling you, it's not good. Hold on. Oh. Hey. Oh, God. Oh. Ooh, I got it. Oh. Yes. Alright. Guys. Anyways, let's finish this.
struggle with mental health more than others in the entertainment industry while being tasked with creating the most lighthearted content. Deborah Serrani, a clinical psychologist who treats performers with depression and other mental health problems, said comedians often wear what we call the mask of depression, which helps them put on a more acceptable face to the world. But behind that mask, there is a terrible struggle going on. There is a stigma about depression, and oftentimes the laughter distracts from feelings of weakness. Katt Williams has had an extremely rough life, starting with being homeless and alone at age 13. Combine that with the chaotic lifestyle of a comedian, constantly being on the road, late nights, irregular sleeping and eating schedules, the pressure to constantly deliver funny and engaging performances, as well as regularly dealing with hecklers and sometimes unresponsive audiences who make the job mentally taxing. And on top of all of that, add the potentially evil Hollywood gang that Katt says is actively trying to get him to compromise his morals, but when he refuses, they blackball him and run smear campaigns to call him crazy. That is a recipe that would make any man go mad. So the question is, was Katt trying to escape an evil industry, or was he actually a drug-induced madman?
Martin tried to put me in my first dress. When he had to go on his hiatus, he tell me, Katt, when I come back, I need you. You my young partner, you my brother in comedy. When I come back, just promise me that my next movie, it'll be me and you. Go do what you gotta do. When you come back, I'm in your movie. Don't trip. I don't need to see the script or nothing. You know, we get in that office and this fool pull out Big Mama's house too, where this nigga wants me to get in a dress with him. And I'm literally saying to everybody, why is he in a dress again?
If it isn't obvious, Katt didn't want to wear the dress. Brandon T. Jackson would go on to portray Martin's son, Trent, in Big Mama's house, where the two go undercover at an all-girls performing arts school. Unfortunately, years later, Jackson asserted that he did the project for money and was unaware of the repercussions it would have on his career.
Did you get like?
Let me pause. Is he? Oh, I look up. I didn't even know this. He was in. I don't really know much of his filmography, guys. This Katt Williams dude, I don't know. Was he in the first one? Oh, is he in the? There was a There was a second one. Then there was a third one. I don't see him in the cast list. Must have been. Let me see. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Maybe he was just saying. Maybe he requested him to be in the movie, and then he denied it. I don't know. That's what it sounds like to me, I guess.
When you wore the dress at that moment, only Katt Williams. Katt Williams was trying to always say, Brandon, don't wear a dress. He called you, or is this? No, he was saying it in the media, so I thought he was heckling me. He was really trying to help me at the time. I didn't know that. I was immature. Right. I felt like, dang, why? I'm trying to make it. And then he was trying to warn me, don't get in the dress. Everything went wrong. It's like everything went right. Everything went wrong when I put on that dress.
Katt has been discussing this subject for years because this has been a pattern that many have speculated is a humiliation ritual. Eddie Murphy, Tyler Perry, Jamie Foxx, Wesley Snipes, Chris Tucker, Arsenio Hall, Tracy Morgan, the Wayans brothers have all dressed up as women for TV or movie roles. Just before Kevin Hart exploded into fame, he also wore a dress on Saturday Night Live. And even 10 years ago, Katt discussed this.
There's two answers. First of all, let's be very, very clear. It is possible that there isn't anything fun.
He was in this movie too. What is this? Scary Movie 5? I've never seen any of these movies. I don't know if this one was that good though. Yep, he was in this one. Okay, that's why he looks like he's at like a press screen for it.
Here than a guy in a dress. And if that's the case, then it might also be said that there's nothing funnier than a black guy in a dress. Okay, well, Kevin doesn't have to worry about what people are going to say about him wearing a dress because of the long line of dress-wearing people before him. So now some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time. The press hates them, and nobody likes them.
Katt also detailed an Illuminati meeting alongside Ludacris.
There was a crossroads where we were both invited to an Illuminati thing, and decisions had to be made. So it was both of us, we were equal. One of us had to cut off all their hair and couldn't do the sideburn thing no more with the points. And the next person they said was going to get $200 million because they were going to pay him $10 million a movie to do 20 movies. And that's how the conversation happened. One of those persons turned out to be Ludacris, and the other person turned out to be Katt Williams.
It's really hard to back up any of Katt's claims, and even if the stipulation of getting a $200 million deal is that you have to shave your head inside
Yeah, this dude's kind of all over the place though. I'm honestly not gonna lie.
burns, that seems like an extremely small compromise, and there are no indications that Ludacris ever sold his soul. I mean, he will tell you, he responded to Katt with a rap song.
Never been Illuminati, only Illuminati, and I only left with bitches when coming from any party. Afro with the sideburns, yeah, that's my signature. Addictions on the rise, comedians check your temperature.
Perhaps the most overlooked
Now when I
comment
think of Ludacris, I just think of that commercial that they play now on the dang TV all the time when my dad's watching sports and stuff. It's that commercial where they put the song, get back, and they have like all the mascots like running around. It's like, I don't know what the commercial is for. It's for some like of the commercials. I don't know. That's now all I think about when I see Ludacris now. As much as I still hear like, his like feature on like Usher's songs and stuff to this day, it's like, it's how I kind of starting to know it again. But I used to just think of it nowadays as the Fast and Furious guy, but now I'm seeing him as the damn commercial.
during the interview was Katt's take on Kanye West.
I suspect that we're pretty awful people if we say that somebody got a mental illness and then we watch what they do. If you say somebody got special needs, then why would you be watching them and holding them accountable like everybody else?
The question of whether someone's actions should be judged differently due to mental illness is complex and multifaceted, and opinions may vary depending on cultural, ethical, and legal perspectives. Mental illness can significantly impact an individual's ability to understand the consequences of their actions, to make rational decisions, or to control their behavior. Katt is not excusing Kanye's behavior, and he definitely says he doesn't agree with what he says, but he's just questioning why people are surprised surprised, as his whole career he gave obvious signs, such as claiming that he was a god, and he was praised and uplifted for his outlandish behavior. Now, Katt has never publicly disclosed any sort of manic or psychiatric problems, but look at how much the world judged him when he was crazy 10 years ago, versus now he is saying the exact same things he was saying while he was crazy, but today he is more calm, coherent, and of course, entertaining. Now they are quoting his words as prophetic statements of a wise old genius. Funny how things change.
Alright, guys. Anyways, yeah, that was a long video, but I just wanted to get that out of the way. I just saw this, so I was just like, I'll be able to just get this out of the way again. But anyways, yeah, definitely some interesting stuff. I mean, I didn't really like get too influenced in it because I'm not, but like involved in that type of stuff. But it's like I do think it's pretty interesting. Like especially this is more talking about like the, the comedy kind of more way of like comedians and stuff. Whereas I'm usually opposed to like more knowing more about like I like Kevin Hart and all these guys, like, yeah, but I know a lot about them, but I don't really know much about this type of, like, I know, like, Martin Lawrence and them, but I'm not, like, too, you feel me, like, this comedy space in particular. I do like some actors that are, I think a lot of them are pretty funny, end up coming off pretty funny, but, anyways, yeah. I know a lot of people don't like Kevin Hart, but I don't know. I like Kevin Hart, but still, this is about Katt Williams, a comedian I'm not too big on, and I don't really seen much of his stuff, but still, kind of definitely a guy who's definitely, if he's like actually saying this true stuff, I wouldn't like doubt him or anything like that, but he's definitely kind of, I feel like, a little. But anyways, that's all I gotta say for this video. Just a reaction, just a little reaction. Again, I might not be too enthused on the subject on like other stuff, but still, I did know some of the stuff he was talking about, but I didn't know a lot of some stuff. But anyways, that's all I gotta say for this video, guys. And I will see you all later. And peace.